The US dollar is the United States' most potent weapon, but it is currently in jeopardy. The dollar is losing popularity as a global reserve currency. While the US dollar served as the international trading currency for over 75 years, the Chinese yuan has recently surpassed it as Russia's preferred medium of exchange. China and Brazil have agreed to use the yuan in bilateral trade. The Argentine and Brazilian governments are working together to create a new currency that will replace the US dollar. Russia is gradually replacing the US dollar with alternative currencies. The UAE and India have discussed the possibility of replacing the US dollar with the Indian Rupee in their trade. Even oil-rich Saudi Arabia is contemplating switching to yuan from the dollar as payment for Chinese purchases. One of the reasons the US dollar became the global currency reserve was because oil was always priced in dollars. 70% of all US dollars are held by foreigners. Welcome to Financial Fortune, the channel that helps you make the most of your money. In today's video, we're going to take a closer look at the US dollar and its current state. Many experts are sounding the alarm, warning that the US dollar is in trouble and that there could be major consequences for investors and consumers alike. In this video, we'll examine the reasons for this, what it means for you, and what steps you can take to protect yourself from the fallout. If other countries stop using the dollar as their reserve currency, all those dollars will flood back into the United States, causing inflation unlike anything in the country's history. The stock market will crash and the economy will collapse. This is the worst possible scenario for the United States of America. To get to the bottom of things, we have to travel back in time to 1913. Britain held the title of world's greatest power. It ruled over half the planet, boasted the best navy and largest economy in the world. As a result, faith in the British pound was universal. While larger countries like the United States and China trusted each other's currencies, smaller countries like Sweden and Italy did not. They wanted to use a currency they could both have faith in, so they settled on the British pound. The most powerful and expansive empire in history used this currency. There were 60% as many British pounds as there were total currencies in circulation. Germany's dislike of British dominance led it to launch World War I. But things didn't go as planned, and Germany ultimately lost the war. Although the British economy suffered greatly during the war, the country was already too large for its leaders to effectively manage. So Germany tried again, this time by igniting World War II. Britain was on the verge of insolvency, and it needed American assistance to win the war. The United States agreed to aid the United Kingdom only on the condition that it end its colonial holdings. As a result of the Allied victory, much of Britain was bombed and the colonies that had provided the country with so much wealth were lost. Europe was in ruins, the Soviet Union was struggling to feed its people, and China was embroiled in a civil war. The United States, however, was left alone because of its great distance from the attackers. That's how the United States came to have the largest economy and 70% of the world's gold reserves, making it the world's undisputed superpower. At that point, the US dollar replaced the British pound as the preferred reserve currency. As a result, the United States fixed the value of the dollar to $35 per ounce of gold in order to restore international trade after the war. For example, suppose France and Spain want to do business together. They don't trust each other's currencies, but they do trust the dollar, which can be easily converted to gold in the United States. Countries started trading with one another and peace and prosperity reigned. In exchange for US protection and weapons, the US even managed to persuade major oil exporters like Saudi Arabia to only accept US dollars as payment for their oil. The global economy ran on oil, which could only be purchased with US dollars. Since the petrodollar was so influential, the dollar became the de facto reserve currency of the world. The dollar, however, nearly failed at that point. The US government printed so much money that it ran out of gold before it could redeem all of it. That's why Washington finally made the decision to stop trading dollars for gold. But why did the international community persist in using dollars? To what end had they not switched to gold? Why didn't they just stop using paper money? The United States no longer had to limit the printing of dollars in order to keep up with inflation. It printed trillions of dollars to fund the world's most powerful military, to fund wars abroad as a means of power projection, to finance foreign borrowing, and to make other countries economically dependent on the United States. Anyone who didn't do as they were told by Uncle Sam could be cut off from the global economy because the dollar became its center and its foundation. Because only in US dollars could oil-rich countries afford to buy goods and services from the rest of the world, these countries could only sell their oil in dollars. The United States was entering its golden age. Gold wasn't what boosted the dollar's value, rather, it was the strength of the American economy and military. The United States was the world's wealthiest nation with an economy that contributed nearly 40% to global GDP. To do business with the USA, one needed to acquire USD. When the United States started manufacturing computers, advanced weapons, automobiles, and airplanes, the only currency accepted was the US dollar. After World War II ended, many countries borrowed billions of dollars from the United States to repair their destroyed infrastructure. This was especially true in Europe. The country needed US dollars in order to settle its debt to the US government. The United States reaped tremendous benefits from this. The threat of hyperinflation meant that other countries couldn't print money at will, but the United States dollar was held in reserve by central banks around the world. This meant that whenever the United States had a financial need, all it had to do was print more money. The United States was not obligated to provide anything to China in exchange for purchasing goods from China. In the next decade, China's economy is expected to overtake the United States, at which point sanctions against China will harm the United States more than China, and the yuan will replace the dollar as the international reserve currency. But not everything is a bed of roses. China's population is decreasing and its economy is slowing. To counter China, its neighbors are strengthening ties with the United States. There is no escape for China from the middle-income trap. The United States' trade war with China has caused a severe shortage of high-quality chips in China. However, following US sanctions, Russia's economy has been steadily declining. Will the yuan from China eventually displace the US dollar as the world's primary reserve currency? Moral principles and values are not the foundation of international trade. Whether they like the country or not, people will use the currency of the country they know they can trust. China has over $3 trillion in US dollar reserves and is trying to replace the US dollar. The United States boasts first-rate geography, the strongest military, and average annual economic growth of 3% despite its advanced level of development. China may be used as a currency reserve if it solves its problems and breaks out of the middle-income trap, but it won't replace the US dollar anytime soon. What steps will you take to protect your finances from the impact of a weakening US dollar? And how will you position yourself to benefit from the opportunities that may arise? Comment down below your thoughts. Thank you for watching Financial Fortune. We hope you found this video informative and helpful in understanding the potential risks and implications of a weakened US dollar. Remember, knowledge is power, and by staying informed and taking proactive steps to safeguard your finances, you can weather any storm. Please subscribe to our channel for more great content, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay up to date on our latest videos. Until next time, stay financially savvy.